Welcome to $5 Movie Bin. This week we watched Killer Klowns from Outer Space, 1988. It was a horror comedy directed by Stephen Chiodo, and it's about a small town that gets invaded by alien clowns who wrap their victims up in cotton candy to eat them later. And it revolves around the lead character, Mike, who is going around trying to convince people that they are indeed invaded by killer clowns.
I surprisingly I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to. It was kind of fun, and while it is a satire and kind of like purposefully cringy, I was talking about it, but I don't know if it accomplishes that goal. Like, I don't know if it makes it clear enough that it is a satire, because while I knew that coming into it, I was while I knew it was a satire coming into it, I was definitely like convinced by its like I guess earnestness. Like it's not an earnest movie, but like I was convinced that it was trying to be a horror movie and not like a horror comedy sci-fi. Like I thought it was just a bad, like I don't know. I don't know if it really accomplished its goal of being over the top and ridiculous to a point where, oh, it's so clear it's a comedy. But then again, I might not have been watching it with like I might not have been watching it in the most intelligent way. Whatever.
When I think of like horror comedy, I think that it's very hard to do. And this may get some hate, but I love Scary Movie. It is my comfort movie, I'm not gonna lie. But I think that that's a movie that, for example, does it really well, where you can tell that it's intentionally supposed to be like bad and funny and stuff. And this one wasn't as much funny, even though maybe it was supposed to be. But as Flora was saying, it didn't convince me. I just kind of viewed it as like an actually bad horror movie. It didn't actually seem like a horror movie that was bad on purpose to be funny.
I thought it did an okay job of filling that genre, because I went into it with like knowing nothing. And I definitely at first thought it was a horror movie, but I kind of picked up on that it was a little bit too kind of exaggerated, over the top, and a little bit sarcastic. And I kind of picked up that it was also a comedy, but I think it definitely was harder to tell than I thought. But I think had I known it was a horror comedy going into it, I would have thought it filled the genre better. But it was okay.
Honestly, I don't know if what they were going for was like a funny horror movie or a parody horror movie, because Scary Movie is like a parody. I don't know if this one was like a horror movie that had humor in it, and that's why they called it like a horror comedy, because if that's the goal, then they did achieve that.
Right.
But it's not a parody. So if they were going for a parody, I don't think that they did it.
They just
I don't think it was
made
parody at all.
what they meant to parody.
Like horror parody is different than like horror comedy.
I agree.
Yeah.
So, I was kind of in the same boat as Ethan. I wouldn't have known this as a comedy if I hadn't heard you, Ava, talking about it in the past. Because I know when we were coming up with our original list of movies to watch before we kind of had anything planned. It's on a timer.
Turn off the lights.
Yeah. Yep.
It's
all her.
Cute.
All
Very
her.
Cute.
Yeah. You were mentioning how it was a really bad movie, but it was meant to be a really bad movie. So I would have just thought it was just a really poor horror movie.
Disclaimer, I really like bad horror movies.
Yeah.
And funny horror movies.
Seems like it.
Not a bad thing. I like
them.
Hey,
it's a good thing. Yeah, not a bad thing. Just seems like it.
I wasn't necessarily as invested in the plot as much as I was the set design and the music and everything tech about the movie.
Here we put the graphic that says Nicole is a set design nerd. Flashes across the screen.
True. Yep.
All right.
Tech corner. welcome to Tech Corner. We're going to talk about tech stuff right now. And I would say my bit was the perfect segue into this. So just a little, I was telling these guys beforehand, but a little background for the audience.
These guys.
These guys.
Beforehand.
Ooh, what's up? Yeah. I was watching this with my mom, and neither of us were really plot driven by it. She wasn't driven. She was driven with hatred. She hated this movie. And I was like, if you're gonna take something away from it, look at the set. The set was insane, and from what I've gathered, on a relatively cheap budget, not just set, but music, CGI, editing, everything that plays into this really works for the genre. And even if you don't enjoy it, it it works for the genre. There's kind of no debating that.
Can I add on?
No.
Okay.
Good one, Nicole.
Thank you.
I was just trying to be polite. I didn't want to interrupt you. Jeez.
Yes, of course.
I was gonna say that they had, I couldn't tell if they were masks or not, but whatever they had good SFX or masks or whatever, because it didn't look like a person just wearing a mask. It looked like an actual clown face, and like obviously it was 1988 and it wasn't as like good as it would have been now, but I thought for the movie that it was pretty good.
Yeah,
SFX.
they were kind of grotesque. Like there'd be close-up shots on their face,
were
and you'd
gross.
see all these lines, and like,
They
oh,
had, like,
it was
crooked teeth
And
that
their
were
teeth.
yellowy.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Those masks were like slimy. I didn't
They
like
were
it.
creepy.
It made me
I think
uncomfortable.
they were well done. I
Yeah,
thought
they
they
were
were well
well
done.
They move very like robotically, though. I guess it's probably just a product of whatever material they're made of. Like they move very
Yeah.
artificially.
They're made of clowns. Get it right, Flora.
Yes.
They grind up the clowns and then they paint them on.
Okay.
That's what makes it so
Alright.
realistic.
That's interesting.
I was
thought you
eating
should know.
pizza and I physically had to stop in the bathroom scene when those worm clown
Oh,
things are
those
like
things.
jumping
Yeah.
on. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, no, next.
Yeah.
Nah.
Cole had
It
pizza and
was
didn't share with the rest of us.
it
That's so
was
sad.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't share my pizza with you.
I accept your apology.
Thank you. Thank you. At first I got lost. I was like, is that what we were talking about? Because I blanked for like 5 seconds. Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
visual effects. I thought the visual effects, I think they matched like the vibe of the movie, I guess, because like they weren't great, but they got the job done. Like you kind of knew what was happening. They looked fake and cheesy, but I think it kind of matched the comedy aspect of it. But the one thing that really bothered me was the sound. A lot of the voices felt like dubbed over in weird ways. Like
Oh yeah.
it
Yeah.
did not match, and that
Yeah.
bothered me a lot.
Yeah.
From
Did not work.
so I don't know where she's on the main screen, but she's here on my screen.
Oof.
Nicole's the set design nerd and I'm the sound nerd, and it bothered me that you could see them talking and it was kind of out of sync, and I was like, is my laptop being weird? But then I realized they just didn't bother to like sync it for the far away shots.
That's
I was like, I don't love that as much.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
going off of the sound, the one particular piece of the sound track that stood out to me was the intro song called Killer Klowns by the Dickies. That felt like very Shakespeare-esque. In the beginning of Shakespeare they do kind of an intro not paragraph, they're whatever poetry is. They do like the intro stanzas that basically highlight everything that happens in the story, and I have the lyrics pulled up right now, and this was similar to something Shakespearean. It's time to take a ride on the nightmare merry-go-round. You'll be dead on arrival from the likes of the killer clowns from outer space. Killer Klowns from Outer Space. There's cotton candy in their hands, says a polka-dotted man with a stalk of jacaranda. That's it, is how you say. They're all diabolical bozos.
Wait, could I read a lyric for a second?
Sure.
Black dress with the tights underneath. Of the last cigarette on my teeth. And she's an actress. That's it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. So guys, can I actually make one? I want to do the really small complaint thing, like a really minuscule detail that really annoyed me about this.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm loving it. There you go.
Yay.
So I was there. Like the clown's main weakness is like you kill them, you shoot them in the nose, and like from an evolutionary standpoint, they would not have made it this far. Like you don't like what purpose does that, like that's the only thing that can kill you, and it is right here. That doesn't make any sense. Like imagine we evolved to have like a bullseye over our like over our carotid artery. Like what? Like that's crazy. That would not have happened in nature. Anyways, like that annoyed me. Like I get it, like it had to happen for the plot. There needed to be something that they could shoot pretty easily, but still would not have evolved that way.
It's
anyways,
like punching a shark in the nose.
Yeah. Well, but like if the shark had like exactly like arrows pointing to it, like if the nose had like yeah, exactly, glowed neon. But then I think that raises an interesting question. Does that mean that like do the people that make this movie, are they creationists? Do they not believe in evolution? Because let's be honest, that would not have existed. That cannot exist with evolution. They would not have made it this far where they can do space travel and go wipe out people. I don't know. I think that there's something there. Yeah.
That's a good question. That's a valid question.
That's a very deep thought that
Thank you.
I did not have.
Yeah, are the people that made Killer Klowns from Outer Space, are they creationists that don't believe in evolution? Anyways.
All right, I have two small complaints to think about it. This one isn't as much of a complaint as it just annoyed me. I don't know, like I see why she had to do it, but it made me mad that she put the shower head in the bathroom scene when
yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
The shower head on, and then she ran out. She left the water on.
Oh, that was not it. Mine was when she put the water on, but half of the water was shooting out of the thing's mouth.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't doing it right. It was so annoying.
Yeah, well, first of all, it wasn't doing anything, and then she just left the water on and ran away. Like her water bill is gonna be like so high.
Yeah, and
it's like a little worm, and it can't reach you, and it's not doing anything. You can just turn it off.
Yeah.
Before you leave.
Now she's gonna have water damage all over her walls.
It's literally gonna flood.
Yeah, exactly.
Fair. Yeah.
Awful.
She's gonna come back from the clown adventure to see her house completely ruined, and that's just never addressed. Second of all, when they're at the makeout place, and you find out that the two guys in the ice cream truck, the brothers, are Mike's friends, and he just laughs while everybody throws beer cans at him. He's like, ha, ha, ha. He's not like mad. Everyone's like, we hate you. Chucking beer cans at them could cause him to like crash and get like seriously hurt, and he's just like, ha ha ha. Debbie, let's get back in my car. Actually, I have one more. The last one is that Debbie is supposedly supposed to be dating Mike, which makes sense. But then Dave from the police station is apparently her ex-boyfriend, and then she just starts acting like he's her boyfriend again, and Mike's right there and seems perfectly okay with it.
Yeah, that was so
I don't understand what's happening.
It was so weird.
There was no character development at all. And I think that's a trend that we're seeing with all of these movies that we're picking. None of them really have any character development.
That's right.
And that's what makes them mediocre.
Yeah, I expected, what was the cop's name? Give me a second.
Mooney?
Huh?
Mooney?
No, the younger one that was obsessed with her. Dave Hansen. Dave. I expected Dave to like be like, hey, you're a cool dude, something cheesy like that. Like I'll get over it. I'll move on. But in the very last scene, he's like kissing her head and petting her, and Dave is just right there, just like, you're so cool, buddy. And it's
You do it,
so
man.
we're It's so
that scene,
weird.
especially like when they get her out of the bubble and he's like kissing her head, and Mike's like, LOL, we're all friends.
Right. This is
Honestly,
normal
Yeah.
friendship
Honestly,
behavior.
at the end, when they were all like hugging each other, I'm like, are they a throuple now?
Thinking too.
Okay, one thing that annoyed me, it's really random and small, but that farmer at the beginning, like first farmer guy to discover the tent, he kind of bothered me because his acting ability, like he's like a bad actor, and I felt really faked and forced, and I couldn't tell if that was like intentional or not.
I agree. I thought maybe, I thought it was part of it. Like we would see more comically bad actors throughout the movie, and like the other actors were fine. Like
Yeah.
He
like
was
it
the
was
only
they were
bad
totally.
one.
He was like intentionally awful. Well,
But it was,
felt like
but
it
it was like
intentional.
funny. It was in a
Yeah.
good way. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie. When I was watching him for the first time, my brain was like, that reminds me of me. Me and Chilla. I'd be like, come on, let's go check it out with my big shovel. Like, everybody's gonna be here. Let's go. I was like, that kind of reminds me of me a little bit.
Nothing blatantly annoyed me about. Not that I can think of. Maybe the one particular CGI, or I think it was supposed to be CGI, when I think Dave shot one of the clowns and it exploded with like green goo.
It went into that little green tube.
Yeah,
Little
that
cocoon.
was so unrealistic. Hi.
She's our guest star today. Tell
Can
the
you-
audience who she is. Introduce her.
This is Kitty. She's gonna lick herself. I guess.
Ethan's gonna have to blur that out. We're not that kind of channel.
Baby. Okay. All right. Yeah, here's Kitty, everybody.
I thought you were gonna put the blanket over her so we could see her. And I was like, oh my god. I think you're like, okay, here's Kitty.
Okay. Yeah, Kitty and do you want to cuddle with Bart? Kitty and Bart are the dream team today. I guess I will hold Bart. But yeah, that CGI bit with the green goo was the thing that annoyed me the most, even though nothing really did annoy me. I think what's annoying me is the trend we're seeing in the little amount of character and plot development in all of these movies that we're watching, and I'm starting to actually notice it before anyone says it. Yeah. And that's all part of being a mediocre movie show. One day we will get a movie that has character development.
One of these days.
The last one we did, maybe I think it had a little bit. At least like she learned something. You know what I mean? Like she grew in that way. But other than that,
Right.
I agree.
Yeah.
Spot a Clarky. Who in this movie would go to Clark?
The answer is the guy at the beginning who's holding all of the bags with all of the cans that just say beer across them, who walks by the cop car and goes, cops. He goes to Clark.
I would agree with that. Yeah, I like that.
And that's not an insult. We're happy to have it.
I feel like I'd see the farmer guy just walking around campus and I wouldn't know why. But he'd always be there.
The farmer guy would be a maintenance person, but you wouldn't know what he was doing.
Yeah.
You'd be like, you'd know he worked for Clark, but you wouldn't know what his job was. But he'd be there.
Yeah.
He'd be like outside the Goddard library, just like sitting on a bench.
Yeah, or like looking through something. Yeah.
Hang on, did you just call it Goddard?
Yeah, I heard that too. I'm just gonna let it slide. Goddard.
I don't know how else to pronounce it.
Goddard?
Goddard?
That's how you pronounce it?
Yeah. That's it.
Oh yeah. Did everyone else have any input on Spot
Yes.
Clarky?
I guess everybody agrees with me.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah. Yep.
definitely.
Goddard.
Godard.
Darn.
Goddard. That just doesn't sound right to me.
It does.
Spot Clarky has turned into a lesson in Clark buildings.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
I'm loving it.
Yeah.
So at the end of every $5 movie bin session, we always rate $1 through $5. Me personally, I'm gonna have to give it a solid 250. It wasn't my type, but I think it speaks well for the genre as a whole, and it's a good representative of the genre. A little ridiculous at some points, but I think all in good fun.
Nicole's type is actually melodramas. It's her favorite genre.
Yes.
I would rate it. I'd give it like $2 out of 5, because that's just what I feel it deserves for its production quality and my enjoyment of it. 2 out of $5. I don't have any elaboration. I said what I need to say already.
I'll go like 225. It was okay. It wasn't great. But yeah, that's what I'll have to say on it.
Here's the thing. I don't think I'd pay for it at all, but I'd still thoroughly enjoyed it. Like
That's your thing for every single movie.
I know.
I just think you don't like paying for movies.
No, you're correct. Like that's you've got
It could be a great movie, and Flora's like, I loved it. It's my favorite movie ever. But would I pay for it?
I don't want to pay for it.
No.
I haven't watched 8th grade again for 2 reasons. Number 1, emotionally devastating. Number 2, I think it's like $4.99 on Amazon. I'm not gonna pay that. I'm not gonna do that. Anyways, it was fun. I liked it. I mean, I might pay 99 cents to watch it again, but it's on YouTube for free. It would be stupid to do that. It's on YouTube for free.
Right.
Anyways, it would be a bad financial move.
All right. Is that everything?
I think so.
Awesome. Well, thank you for watching, our dedicated viewers. Like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see our beautiful faces.
Most importantly, say hello to Bart.
Most importantly, say hello to Bart.
Hi, Bart.
We actually got him a chair this time.
His pay has been increasing, so
yeah,
we thought maybe he deserved a little luxury.
And to keep blowing us up, leave some comments about what you thought of the movie.
If you thought we were bad, tell us.
Yeah.
I can't deal with that kind of criticism. You can tell the rest of them they're bad, but like leave me out of it. I don't even know.
Constructive criticism.
I can't. Not even constructive. I cannot deal with it.
Is perfect.
And for anyone who wants to watch Killer Klowns from Outer Space at home, you can find it on YouTube for free and on Netflix. So, go ahead, watch the movie, and tell us what you think.